very close to the Singing River Ball. If you live in that area, you have got to get in your safe place right now. This was a waterspout that made landfall very close to Gaucher and is moving inland very quickly. There's definitely a lot of ice starting to build up. So definitely as we go through the rest of today, just try to avoid driving if possible.
Right?
Yeah, if you're going to be outdoors or indoors, well, overall, the weekend's looking pretty good. So conditions are very dangerous for burning right now. It's very easy for those fires to spread very quickly. So I would definitely refrain from burning until we get a little bit more rain. A couple heavy showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two will be possible by about the 8 o'clock hour. So if you have evening plans, keep the umbrella with you. You may need it. But of course, we've had now all throughout the morning anchors, news reporters, even some of our meteorologists have done snow angels. So now we're going to do snow angels with the Gulfport Fire Department. You guys ready? And you can see lots of storms still moving through portions of Louisiana. A little bit of a sea breeze kicking up, also helping amplify some of that thunderstorm activity. That's slowly going to continue to move to the east as we go into the rest of the afternoon. Well, good afternoon. We did see that cold front pass through this morning, and ever since it has felt much nicer out there. A little bit of a breeze from the north, a much cooler and drier air out there as well as high pressure begins to take over. As we go into the evening and into the overnight hours, we're going to be cooling off very quickly. By about 7, we're already going to be back in the 60s. And by about midnight, we'll be crossing into the 50s, and that's going to continue. Now, as we go into the early morning hours, we could develop just a little bit of cloud cover, and depending on how many clouds we see out there, that may actually determine if we keep on that cooling trend or not. Now, as we go into very early tomorrow morning, very depending on how many of those clouds actually form, there's a really good chance that many of us will be waking up right around 50 degrees. Inland areas have a chance at maybe those upper 40s. And of course, if we can keep those clouds away, some of these numbers may end up being just a little bit lower. So early tomorrow morning, we're going to be keeping an eye out for upper 40s across the area. Next couple of mornings, we're going to see humidity start to work its way back into the area. That does mean that those morning temperatures are going to start to rise back into the 60s once again. But as we head into Sunday, rain chances will be higher, so at least those afternoon temperatures will stay on the lower side. Best chance of seeing some rain is going to come in on Sunday, and in the early parts of next week, we can go back to those hit or miss showers. Here's what's going on. We do have a system developing very close to the coast. We're going to be tucked in between the warm front and the cold front there. That's known as the warm sector, and that's where most of the rain and maybe a few storms are going to develop with this system. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as we go through Sunday. Hit or miss showers, maybe a few thunderstorms as well as this moves on through. Then back behind that system, another one will come through with a much stronger cold front. And that's our chance to see those much cooler temperatures across the area. That's our first real chance at getting down into the 40s, especially during those morning hours. But of course, that's a little bit further down the road. That's towards the end of next week. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that, work out those details over the next couple of days. Looking at the tropics, of course, we do have Tropical Storm Melissa in the Caribbean, and this is really starting to get itself a little bit more organized. We're definitely keeping a close eye on that for our friends in the Caribbean. The good news is that that is not a threat to the Gulf. There's way too much wind shear. That's going to be keeping it out of the Gulf. But it will be very slowly moving up towards the north, especially Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, Central America. Need to keep a very close eye on this, as this is expected to become a major hurricane with those very warm waters there in the Western Caribbean. Next name on the list is Nestor, but there is nothing else out there that we are watching, so that is the good news out there. 7-day forecast here in South Mississippi. We're great the next couple of days into the weekend, our slightly higher chance of rain. And then towards the back half of next week, we're keeping a close eye on that big cool down